Okay, thank you so much for watching my YouTube video. I really appreciate it. Okay, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Okay, like, share, and subscribe to my channel here. All right, so I wanted to give an update in the Nolan Wells case. There has been some new findings. Allegedly, there has been a post that has been put out on social media from this female, we're assuming. Okay, she wants to remain anonymous. She's a potential witness who is saying she witnessed Nolan Wells getting in an argument with some boys on a boat. She said her and her husband saw it. They reported this information to the police, and so I guess they're just letting the public know. But she also said that she has that she was recording, so she may possibly have some camera footage of this incident. So if that is the truth, okay, now can we depend on the Mississippi Police Department to actually do a thorough investigation and actually put this information out? I wonder. And, it does make people suspicious about, okay, well, if you gave the information to the Mississippi PD, then why are you telling the world? But nothing has happened in the case. So we're like, yeah, she's probably like, okay, let me put this out here so people can know what's going on. But it could actually be dangerous for her as well, because, if some people, if they really took out Nolan Wells, they could possibly take her out or have her taken out. We don't know, we don't know. We just don't know what people are capable of doing. We just have to all see. But also, the DA has put out a statement saying that Mississippi, Department of Mississippi are doing a thorough investigation on the case of Nolan Wells. They're not putting any information out until they complete their findings. They are taking the case seriously. And I think this has come because of, so much talk going on. The medical examiner, there's a petition against her to have her investigated. So many people are being hit by so many different places. The DA, a lot of people have been talking about her, staying on her case. A lot of stuff has been, coming out to, people following her or harassing her, because I believe it was the DA that was allegedly being harassed, and that's how the first person got arrested. Because they keep talking about there were arrests in the Nolan Wells case, when really I wouldn't really say it's arrest when it was because of harassment to the DA. To me, that's different. I could see if you're saying like to like the suspects, they were harassed and then a person was locked up, then that would make sense. But just say the DA was harassed and there was arrests made in the Nolan Wells case. Like, to me, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so again, I'm talking about Nolan Wells because I keep saying his name and I keep talking about Mississippi. So, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The case of Nolan Wells, and I'm giving updates about the new information that has come out. So anyway, so like I was saying, so the DA came out and made that statement. Now, a lot of stuff has been coming out about the family holding on to the phone, not giving the phone up when Mississippi Police Department has requested the phone. And I mean, think about it. Wouldn't you be nervous about them having the phone without having a mutual investigation of the phone? I would be worried. They haven't put any information out. It's been over a month. It's been a month and a half since the passing of Nolan Wells, and we haven't found anything out, including the family. Don't have any new updates. The most findings the family has had comes from social media, because Mississippi hasn't told them anything. Not one thing involving the case. So all the information that's circulating around the world right now that's on social media. Can you imagine not knowing what happened to your loved one and getting all this information coming in from all these different places from social media? Okay, we're out here cracking the case our damn selves. We're like, oh, we're not going to wait on Mississippi. No, you didn't even give the parents any information. They don't know anything, no findings. Okay, they haven't released the autopsy, but they said the autopsy is complete, which means they have done a toxicology report, which includes drugs and alcohol, which means they have done all their findings to find out whether or not Nolan Wells was, if he drowned or what happened, because they took his throat out. So I'm wondering, that makes folks wonder, like, why would they take his throat out? And then they didn't send it in with to the medical examiner who was doing the first thorough investigation or examination of Nolan Wells' body. It's so much going on. Then you have what I believe is 2 hangings of black people from the state of Mississippi that has come out within a couple of months. I think since June. From June until now, it's been 2 hangings of black people, and they've been ruled suicide. And when do you know black people to hang themselves in trees? When do you know black people to do that? That's not a thing we do. Okay, who y'all trying to fool? Y'all trying to play us. Anyway, I saw this post on Instagram today, and this girl, she was talking about how she had saw a post of this guy who said he was at a truck stop, and when he came out of the restroom or whatever from the gas station, because most truck stops are attached to the gas station, he said this guy was asking him to come here and help him do something. But he was like, it's 3:00 in the morning, and he was like, nah, I wasn't going over there to help that guy do anything. He was saying that he needed some help or something. He was waiting on his brother, and he said the guy was trying to get him to come to the back part of the vehicle, which it was dark over there, and he said, he thought, thankfully, that, nah, I'm not going over there. No. And he dismissed the guy. And then he waited, like somewhere, I guess, discreet, and he waited, and he saw the guy get out of the truck with another guy. So the guy asked him to come help him do something because he was waiting on his brother to do it, or his brother wasn't there, and he was waiting on his brother to come do it. But come to find out, it was actually 2 men that were over there. And of course, they were white. So the girl who was watching the video, she posted the video, and she brought up a very interesting point. She said that a lot of times black people can be real nice to other races. We can. Like, think of it. How many videos do y'all see of black people being extremely rude to white people, to beating them up? Okay, how many videos do you see of black officers beating up or slamming down white people? You don't see any of that, or Asian people or Mexican, anybody. You don't see that. And I know exactly what she means when she said that. So she was saying that she believes that a lot of the hangings come from maybe someone, I'm keep it general, maybe someone requested some assistance from these black people. They went over to help, and then they probably got taken. Okay? And then, of course, we find them hanging in trees like strange fruit. So that makes a lot of sense, and I believe that. I believe that truly. Okay? Makes a whole lot of sense. But I'm saying that and repeating that to say, just people in general, like, don't be overkind. Like, I'm not the kind. I'm not I'm not kind. I'm nice. I could be nice, but I ain't that doggone nice. I'm gonna be honest, and you probably could tell or whatever, but I'm not the type of person to insert myself in a situation because I know how people will play on your niceness. Okay, I've been seeing it ever since I was young. I've been peeping that game ever since I've been young. And that is one of the reasons why I always have taught people that I know to stop being overly nice like that. Okay, I've been teaching that. Like, stop, don't be manipulated by people of your race, of any race, anyone in general. Like, stop being nice because people take advantage of niceness. Okay, why you think they have books that's made up about 48 laws of power? Ain't nothing nice in that. Okay, you got to be strategic when you're dealing with people. You can't be out here being nice. That's not being nice is not going to get you far to me. That's just how I feel. That's what I believe. You can believe what you believe. Okay? And I feel like the downfall for a lot of black people is the religion thing. Because in my opinion, and I can't talk about white people because I don't know white people like that. You know, to really like deeply know them. Like, you can have friends, and I even got family members that's white, okay? But I wouldn't say that I know any other race like that. Like I would know, like I would say or admit that I know black people. Because we think alike. Like, I could predict, if somebody tell me a story, I could predict whether or not, like, it's a black person or a different race of people. Like, you kind of know your ways of your people. Right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Asians, I'm pretty sure you know how Asians get down. Okay? Spanish people, y'all know how Spanish people get down. Right? You hear about like a food or something somebody's eating. You know who eating that food. Stop trying to act like, don't act like you don't know. To me, it's not stereotyping if it's real, if it makes sense. Unless you're trying to be rude, then that's a whole different thing. But if you're doing something to like pinpoint something out, then you're probably going to know some information about a race of people. Like, say, okay, well, really, this could go anyway. I was going to give examples, but I'm not going to go there because that's going too far. But anyway, going back to what my original thought is, stop being so nice to people where you go and help them out, especially if you're by yourself, especially if it's at night. And I don't care who it is. It could be your own people. Okay? Stop being overly nice, going out your way, doing something to help someone out, and you don't know what you could be running into. And not just at night, it could be in the daytime. Like, stuff happens at any time, right? Nolan Wells was last seen around 6 p.m., which probably was still daytime, okay? Or he was last seen around 3 or 4:30. We don't even know, okay? But we suspect something happened on that boat in the daytime. So don't take your life for granted. Don't let people play you or manipulate you. Stop being so nice. You don't need friends that bad. Fall in love with yourself. Okay, that's what you need to do. Fall in love with yourself. Because it's dangerous out here in this world. We're living in this, it's like the same times. It's nothing really has changed. I don't know what other races' struggles are because I'm black and I've only been really focusing on my struggles and the struggles of my people. But I don't know if y'all struggles or for your race group has continuously still going on even in 2026. But for Black people, it has. And I believe it's going to continue. Now, I don't know what's going to stop it, what's going to change things. But for me, it made me look at you sideways when you act like you don't see race. Like, come on now. We're human. Be adults. Okay, be an adult and admit, I mean, yeah, you see race. There's nothing wrong with that. You know how to identify a person. But, people will take your kindness for your weakness. I know that. So people will play you if you let them play you. They will. But I'm saying all this to say to be careful, because there's so much going on in the world and you don't want to be a victim. Okay? You don't want to have the whole world talking about rest in peace or missing. Like, it's a woman who, a Black woman, allegedly she went to Las Vegas to meet someone there, meet her friend there. And I believe it was a guy who she met there. And then they were supposed to be leaving, going back home after their trip. She never made it back home, but people were texting her family members from her phone, or I don't know, someone was texting her family members from her phone asking for money for the bus, asking for money to be sent to Bitcoin and all types of stuff like that. And it's like, what? Crazy. Can you imagine? Your family member don't talk like that. And it's your family member phone. And so now the first thing you thinking is, where the hell is my family member? Okay? But you don't know. And then now that person is missing. Allegedly, her daughter has pretty much went and stayed in Las Vegas, as she should, until she gets some answers and find out what happened to her mom. Sad. Sad. And I bet you, because she looked like a nice woman, I bet you she probably, okay, I don't know, but she looked like she probably was all nice one to help somebody out, and then they could have snatched her up or something. I don't know. Okay, allegedly the daughter looked in, she checked with coroners, the hospitals, police department. She checked every department that she could, and she hasn't found her mom or any evidence about her mom, which is cameras everywhere. So it just amazes me how when it comes to like a case, a criminal case, these cameras never appear. They're never used as evidence. Like, they'll go as far as use people door cams. And if you're in an apartment, if you're in like a community, like a home or apartments or whatever, they'll usually use people door cam. But all these cameras you see on the streets, I rarely hear about them using those cameras in investigations. Cameras are everywhere. Cameras you don't even know about. Okay, you could be driving. There's 10 cameras that done clocked you at every light, whether you stayed at the light or you went through the light. On the corners, it's cameras everywhere. So I'm like, how they can't find these missing people? It was even said to be cameras around on land surrounding where the island was at. So if anyone went on land, it was cameras, people door cams, cameras at restaurants, cameras on high poles in the area where Nolan Wells was at. So, a lot of people's been talking about that. Like, where is the camera footage to show those boys pulling in, okay, docking the boat, to show their activity and what they were doing? And then now also, I almost forgot about this, but they're saying that allegedly they believe the wrong boat has been investigated. So, like, who did that? Okay, how in the world they investigating the wrong boat? How can that be possible? when the boys said they sent that group of people, the mobsters or whatever, they were acting like they were like a gang or something, to somebody's house to go look at the boat. So was that the wrong boat? Did they send them to the wrong place? How would the police get the wrong boat to investigate? Because the people who own the boat would have had to say, nah, this boat been here. This boat ain't got nothing to do with it. So how you investigating a boat that's not even the right boat? Anyway, like I said, everybody who are you know, public officials, or everybody need to be investigated in Mississippi. Okay, the PD, the courts, the medical examiner, everybody. Okay, they all need to be investigated. Can you do that? Can you investigate a whole state or even a city? They all need to be investigated. And I'm sorry, that's just it. They just do. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. That's the updates that I found that came out today about the Nolan Wells case. And of course, you know, I'm going to stay on the case because I feel like if we get quiet, then it's going to get quiet. And we can't get quiet. We want justice. So you have to speak up. You have to keep talking about it. Rest in peace to Nolan Wells. Today was his birthday. Today is August 19th. And it was his birthday. His family had a whole, like a prayer for him, a public prayer or come together, gathering, whatever you call it. And they made it very clear anyone could come. So all these fake friends, I'm pretty sure they didn't show up, just like they didn't show up to the funeral, okay, of their best friend. And oh, it's been text messages that I believe it was Warren that put out. Allegedly, Warren posted pictures publicly of his conversations with Christine, Nolan's mom, which didn't make sense to me because he didn't volunteer the information that he had Nolan's phone when he called Christine to tell her, to ask her where was her son, have she seen her son. She had to ask, well, hold up, I've been calling him all day. She had to say, I've been calling him all day. She had to say, no, I looked his phone up. His phone is on land. And then he came out and said, oh, no, I got his phone. So he didn't volunteer that information. And he didn't even volunteer the fact that he had Nolan's keys until the people went to the house. So it's not like he volunteered any information to help her out. Okay, when the police department, allegedly, when the police department went to Warren's house or wherever Warren was at, I'm thinking at Jack's house, but I'm not sure because he said he was at his girlfriend's house, but somehow he ended up at Jack's house with the phone, allegedly. I'm not quite sure. I'm confused. Okay, but anyway, allegedly, when him and the other boys talked to the police after he talked to Christine, somehow the police assumed that Nolan was just on somebody's couch or in somebody's bed or somewhere. They didn't assume anything was wrong, hence the reason why they didn't go out there with send the Marine people out there or the Coast Guard to look for him that night. It wasn't until the next day when Nolan didn't show up home that they had to do something. But that night, they insinuated that they believed what the friend said, that he was probably laid up with some girl, like he's a grown man that, you know, just be sleeping around with women and getting drunk and passing out different places. I don't know. So we supposed to believe you because you put out these text messages that are very suspect, okay? Then Warren sent a message to Christine on the day of Nolan's funeral, telling her that he's so sorry for her loss, and he don't want to bring the attention on him, and he won't be at the funeral. But you his best friend? I'm showing up to my best friend funeral. Okay, anyone I really deeply care about, I'm gonna be there. How can I stay home? Now, there is some funerals I haven't been to, and people probably will watch this and feel some type of way about what I just said. But I said what I said, and I can't back down from that. You know, if I really cared about someone and loved them, I'm going to be at their funeral. You know, I would be like the other friends trying to figure out, well, what happened? How did he drown? Like, I would just want answers. But to me, they're not looking for answers. Okay? They're looking for alibis. So, anyway, that's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. But that's all, you guys. Make sure you leave me a comment, okay? Like, share, and subscribe to my channel, okay? Hit that subscribe button, okay? So you can be notified every time I go live. All right, you guys? Yes, so that's it for the night. I think I'm done. Did I do 3 videos today? I did. Okay, your girl's good. Okay. 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 Is that right? She fresh did a... Anyway, you guys, y'all know I'm silly. Peace, you guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, okay?